Podcast back again, and it is Wednesday after NCAA's, and you, Austin Gomez. First of all, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, so you had a pretty stellar performance making the NCAA finals as a sixth year. Tell me about how you got a couple days to reflect. It's not completely set in, but what are you feeling about your tournament last weekend?
Good. I wrestled to the best of my abilities. I thought I wrestled 4 really good matches up until the finals, and I'm super happy with how it went. Obviously didn't get the job done. Not what I wanted, but I'm a freaking Olympian and I'm going to the Olympic Games. So
it's so dope because that's like who gives a shit? And I don't want to say it like who gives a shit, but who gives a shit? You're going to the games. You're going to the big one.
Yeah, it was like I was upset for like 5-10 minutes. I was just like, dang. But I was just like, dang, I didn't get what I wanted. I came back for my 7th year and this was the goal.
Yeah.
But then I like sat back and was just like, I'm going to the freaking Olympic Games, man. This is why I originally came to Michigan, to be a part of the Cliff Keen Wrestling Club and go to the Olympic Games. That's why I was here. And I mean, that's what I did. So it was pretty easy to get over it because I was just like, man, I'm going to Olympic Games. I got to get ready for Olympic Games. I hate folk style anyways. I'm not a big fan of it. So it's just like, I don't care.
You have no idea. You have no idea when we switched over, like the day after the state tournament, I was like, if I don't see a mat return for the next 7 months, I'll be just fine with that.
Yeah. So I'm happy with how it went. I'm grateful that I got the opportunity to compete again, especially for Michigan. I wanted to come to Michigan when I was 16, 17 years old. I've known Sean Bormet since I've been a baby. Him and my dad were friends in high school. So I've known him growing up. When he was running overtime back in Illinois, I was part of overtime. And I've had a relationship with him for a long time. And I committed to KJ when I was a 17-year-old kid at Iowa State. So everything to come full circle and to finally end up at Michigan, just being able to rep the maize and blue in that Block M and finish my career on my terms and how I wanted to. I'm just forever grateful. That's all I really say.
I'm happy for you because here's the thing, and this was. I was going to let you, I'll be honest with you. I was going to let you breathe because I messaged you during the season. You said, hey, listen, can we just wait till after the season? And of course, yes, that makes sense. And I was going to let you breathe for a month. But that performance that you put on this weekend was super impressive to me. And here's why. You have never been at a shortage of big moves, right? Like you have a screw, like I call it a screw lock when you go over.
Yeah.
Whatever. You got a screw lock throw. Like who has one of those since Kenny Cherto in the 70s, 80s, whatever. He'll get mad at me if I say 70s. But you have big stuff, but you put a lot of that almost halfway on the back burner this weekend and just slap singles and slap doubles and slap, like you were playing both games this weekend. And you're going out firing. That to me is super impressive. Can you tell me, did something change at all in your training over the last year where you kind of played it a little bit smarter?
I think a lot of it had to do with KJ being in my corner. He just keeps telling me, your offense is world class. Like your leg attacks, your re-attacks are all world class caliber techniques. So why get away from that? You can go to the upper body stuff. You have that in your arsenal, but you just got to let that come to you naturally. You can't force it. So if I'm just picking these dudes apart on my feet, just getting to my leg attacks and getting to my re-attacks, forcing these guys into bad shot, my upper body stuff's just going to come naturally. And a lot of these guys don't want to wrestle upper body with me, so I'm not going to force it.
No, right. Right. They understand.
Putting myself in bad positions. And, these guys just think I'm all upper body. And I'm really not. My leg attacks are some of the best in the world, I think. And, I finally got to show it this year because I was just like super confident in my leg attacks.
You
So
should be,
I,
because that's a world-class double that you hit in the finals.
yeah, just got to my offense, and that's just what it was. My dad was relentless on me when I was a kid. I would take probably 1,000 shots a week,
Mm,
and it wasn't really a lot of upper body stuff growing up. It was just leg attacks, leg attacks, leg attacks. Drilling on the atom dummy. Rep
mm.
after rep after rep. So, yeah, upper body is just something that I'm good at, but it's not my main offense. My leg attacks are my main offense.
You are an incredibly exciting wrestler to watch. And God knows, did we need that in the finals this year?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you were paying attention backstage, but and Joel, I have data on this, by the way. The first two bouts took an hour and 17 minutes.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was in the back, just like I got my warm up in during heavyweights, and because I knew it was probably gonna be a little while, but I didn't think it
Sure.
was gonna be that long. And
I mean,
I was in the back watching Vito and Dayton, and I just like was just chilling there with my headphones on, just like laughing, like this match is taking forever. But I just like,
it's almost comical. It was
yeah, I was
almost
just like,
comical.
bro, what is going on? Like, come on, let's go. But I think it helped me a little bit, like the matches were taking that long, because it kept me really calm.
Oh,
Like I
really?
was just like super calm. Like I wasn't anxious. And like when I'm listening to music on my headphone, I just listen to worship music. Like I don't listen to stuff to like pump me up. I just want to keep my mind and my body as calm as I can. And that's the stuff that does it. It's just like worship music. So I was just super calm in the back. Like I wasn't like super racy or anything. I was
Mm.
just waiting for the opportunity to compete, and it finally showed up.
Yeah, and again, it's not just that it showed up. It shows up with you coming out the gate firing, and that was
Yeah.
kind of cool to see, right? In a final where I don't think that there was a score in the first 2 minutes of either of any match, you come up and light up a double in the first 10 seconds. Was that in the game plan, or did you just see something open?
Yeah, I think it was a reattack that it was like a
Was it a
reattack.
reattack?
Yeah, I was pressuring him, and I forced him into a bad shot, which I'm really good at, is forcing guys into a bad shot, and I kind of just changed directions on him and got to my reattack. But yeah, I mean that was a game plan, just to try and keep it world class. KJ tells me all the time, keep it world class on him. Just keep it world class, and he's got nothing for you. But yeah, I was just trying to go out there and just keep it world class and let my attacks come to me. So I kept it world class for like a minute and a half until I got put to my back twice and stuff like that. So
I think you need to make that a shirt. Keep it world class.
I like it.
yeah, I mean that's what KJ just like preaches it into my ear. You're world class caliber. Keep it world class. Don't force any bad positions. Let wrestling come to you. If you let wrestling come to you, you're gonna pick these dudes apart. Don't go out there racy. Go out there calm. Go out there just free as you can, and you're gonna pick these dudes apart. And that's what I try to do every single time I step on the mat.
It's fun to watch out there, man. Truly. I mean, especially for me, because I was there when you and your dad were putting on events in Ames, and I to watch you kind of mature as an athlete has been a lot of fun over the years. So I want to talk a little bit about you do have high level leg attacks, but you do have that upper body jump too, and that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
How did you develop like? If you were to take a 12-year-old right now who has a base in wrestling, right? It's not like they're walking onto the mat for the first time. How would you go about teaching them how to go like get better at that upper body stuff, or at least have more confidence in it?
I think every wrestler starting out should immediately get put into freestyle and Greco wrestling.
Yeah.
And that's what worked for me. When I got put into wrestling at 4 years old, I started wrestling freestyle and Greco right away. So I was wrestling all three styles, and I had a great Greco coach in Eric Wetzel growing up. So having him as a Greco coach really helped me develop my upper body skills.
Mm,
And being confident in those positions and wrestling a ton in Greco up until I think I was a junior in high school is when I stopped.
mm.
So I think every wrestler should wrestle Greco. Yeah, the US in Greco wrestling isn't as strong and at the senior level, but I think it is it just teaches you great technique, upper body with underhooks and 2-on-1s and stuff like that. And it also teaches you how to like be more of an athlete and how to use your hips and like when to give pressure, when not to give pressure, and things like that. So I think every wrestler should be wrestling all three styles and should wrestle Greco. Why get away from Greco? Oh, because you hear a lot of guys like ask me like, why aren't you scared in these upper body attacks? It's like, because I've been doing this since I've been a baby. Like this is what I've been wrestling all my life. So it's like this, it's just something I've trained, and I'm not going to be scared from an upper body situation. I'm going to go freaking attack it. Cause like, growing up, there was this wrestling team in Illinois, and it was, their slogan was like, I'd rather throw you than know you. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to try and throw you. Like, that's what I want to do. If I'm getting those upper body attacks, I want to throw you. Like, I want to make it exciting for the fans. So that's kind of my theory on it.
I told this to Joel, and I may or may not have spoken about it on the podcast, but when I got my son into wrestling, I told him, I lied to him. I told him that if you weren't allowed to touch the legs until you were 12, right? He would come up to me in the middle of practice and be like, Daddy, that boy's cheating. And he'd be like, he's touching my legs and he's grabbing them and he's holding them and he's taking me down by grabbing my legs. And I'm like, he's 12. He's like, oh, fine. So I lied to him. And and it just brings me back to your point in that it's so much easier to learn that upper body stuff when you have this base of getting your hips in and stepping your foot in the center, not to the outside. And like all this stuff, if you can instill that in a kid at a young age, it's so much easier, because now all he wants to do is throw. Now we have to work on his leg attacks. I wasn't quite as much of a stickler on the leg attacks as your dad may have been, but I'm telling you right now, like that's the hard part. Like getting your hips in and having some nuts in there that's the hard part. Did you find yourself getting comfortable early on, like at 7th, 8th grade, or did it click a little later?
Yeah, I mean, it clicked right away for me. I think for me, when I was young, I was watching wrestling all the time. So like I would be able to watch something on YouTube, whether I watched a lot of the Russians growing up. And so I would watch these guys get into throws. And I'd be like, I want to hit that in practice. Like, and that's where it all starts. I'm a really good visual learner. If I see a move when I'm watching film, I can go out and hit it in wrestling practice, because that's just because I'm messing around with it. So for me, it was just trial and error in practice, just hitting it in practice. If it fails, it fails. But I'm just going to keep trying it until it works. Just getting my hips in, not being scared. And I mean, it's just something that, I was been doing since I was 8 years old. I mean, I've been throwing guys for a long time. And, it's just something that I think that came natural for me. And, but obviously practice has helped a lot.
Sure.
Like now I never drill throws in practice. Like KJ will make me, and these other coaches make me get in upper body situations in practice just so I don't forget it. Right. And I know I won't forget it, because
like live and sparring.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll just be like, get your over under position, get your underhooks, go upper body, right? Get some of your throws in, get your 4-point, 7-point moves in. And, you can't forget about these things. So I still drill them, but I'm more focused on my leg attacks now.
You were talking about how much you dig Ann Arbor. What you said you've kind of always wanted to go in that direction. Even when you were a kid. Ann Arbor's a cool town, man. Tell me about where you're living. Like, cause we were talking about it off air. It seems like there's a cool little thing going on with the Cliff Keen Wrestling Club and some of the older guys in the group, and you guys have a good thing going on over there. Tell me about it a little bit.
Oh yeah, I love Ann Arbor, man. Being a part of Michigan, the Cliff King Wrestling Club, has been a blessing. We got numerous Olympic medals and world medals inside that wrestling room. So just being able to pick the brains of Sergei Beloglazov, one of the most decorated Russian wrestlers of all time, and Kevin Jackson, and just like Sean and Josh Torella, and then I think the mastermind, that kind of a secret weapon that we have, is Dave Boyard.
Okay.
Being able to pick his brain. But yeah, just being around guys like Jaden Cox, Alex Derringer, Miles Amin, the list goes on and on. Being around those guys and being able to train alongside with guys who have the same goals as me, who want to go win Olympic gold, world gold. So it's easy to go into practice every day motivated and living a clean lifestyle also outside of the room, because these guys want to be the best in the world and I want to be the best in the world. So I've kind of picked some of these guys' brains to see what they're doing outside of the room and even inside the room. So, I mean, being around these guys, it's freaking awesome. It's something that I've been trying to get around for a long time. And that now that I'm actually here and with these guys every single day, my wrestling's only going to get better. It's going to grow every single day. So I'm excited, like, for my future and where I can go.
Yeah, it's interesting to me, man. You know, I want to change over to Mexico here in just a second. What went into the thought process of going and competing for Team Mexico?
So it all started, I was actually on a cadet Pan Am team when I was, I think, 14, 15 years old, and it was in Guadalajara, Mexico. And, I won outstanding wrestler in both styles. And, the Mexican Federation president at the time noticed that my last name was Gomez. And, my dad was obviously there. And he approached my dad and said, "We would love for your son to come represent Mexico in the future." And my grandfather was also on that trip. And, that's when we started getting the idea. They even made me take a picture with like my USA uniform on, and they put the Mexican flag over me and like covered up the USA sign. That's
Cool.
when it kind of all started. And my grandfather and my grandmother were just like, how awesome would it be if you represented where your family comes from? They always told me, don't be ashamed to be Mexican, be proud to be Mexican. And, we want you to represent where our family comes from. And, that we started getting the ball rolling. So it's always been in the back of our minds. And then once I started getting older and my dad was just like, you know what, let's do it. And yeah, that's kind of how it all started, was back in Pan Am's and Guadalajara, Mexico, is when we kind of got the idea. And then 2 years ago, we started getting the process rolling.
So for those people that don't know, and I need to be educated in this a little bit more, I think too. What is the process like to transfer federations? Is it a long, arduous, pain in the ass process, or is it quick?
For us, it was long and
Yeah.
it was kind of a pain in the ass. We needed to
I
find.
think that is more the rule as opposed to the exception. I'm pretty sure that it's a long process for everyone. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. It was kind of a pain in the ass to begin with. We needed to find original birth certificates of my grandmother, my great grandmother, and father. And then once we did that, my dad had to get his passport, become a dual citizen. And then once my dad became a dual citizen, that qualified me and my sisters to also become dual citizens of Mexico. So it was just a lot of it was a long process. My dad had to go down to Mexico like 2 or 3 times and figure everything out, talk to lawyers. And then we also had to pay a $10,000 fee
To
for
UW.
me.
Right, for UW.
It was $5,000 to UWW, and then it was also $5,000 to USA Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And then USA Wrestling has the ability to waive that $5,000 fee
But
if they
I'm
wanted
sure
to.
they did not.
But they ain't gonna waive that $5,000 fee, especially
Not for a
they
65K when they couldn't get a
no,
medal there
yeah.
for a long
Now they're
time.
definitely, now that everything what has happened like the past month, they ain't waiving that fee for nobody no more. So yeah, I mean the reason why I had to pay the fee to UWW was because I already had a FILA license and UWW license under USA Wrestling.
Mhm.
Because I made a cadet team, I made a junior team, I competed at the Pan Ams, so that's why the fees. But if
Now, can
guy,
and again, can I stop you there? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but am I wrong in when I say, and I thought that this was the case, that if you are a Pan Am medalist, which you are, at a youth event or age level event, it's one price. If you're a Pan Am qualifier at a senior level, it's a different price. If you are a world medalist at a senior level, it's a different price. Is that correct?
I think that is true. Like,
Yeah.
so if you're a world medalist for US and then you try to transfer, it's going to be a hefty fee, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm told it's six figures.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. It's ridiculous, but it's crazy. That's a crazy number. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how accurate it is.
So like, you look at guys, well, shit, you have Micha on the team now, at Cleef Keen, and he wrestles with Sabalov, who had a world medal for Russia, and you're sitting there going, well, that means that Serbia had to pay, or Sabalov had to pay upwards of $100,000 just to get him.
I think it is a UWW, I think is just the $5,000 fee.
Oh, really?
And I think USA Wrestling has the prices set maybe to where if you're a senior world medalist, you're going to have different prices.
Oh, is that right? Oh, so
But
that's a USA
have
Wrestling fee. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I have no idea what the fees are for these other international athletes from Russia and stuff like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which is crazy because I think like Sabalov, for an example, like wrestled for Russia one summer, then the next summer he was in Serbia.
Mhm.
It's like that was awfully quick. Like, how'd you get Serbian citizenship?
Well, you
Not
know
even
exactly
Serbian,
how
you're
it,
Russian. Like
you know
like,
exactly how he did
it's
it.
crazy, but it's like it's smart. I think
Yeah.
it's freaking smart. You
Yeah.
also got Zamalov, who is Russian. Now he's representing Uzbekistan, who is one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Yes, he is.
He just can't beat out Sidikov.
Which, by the way, there are some debatable matches between them two.
There are. I've seen those matches and they scrap.
Yeah. Okay. There are some, and we're going to call it debatable, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, there was a point, and I believe it was against Jamalov, where Sidikov does a Granby roll. Like he literally Granbys, okay? And they don't give any points. Like, that's two every time. Like every time.
No, I've seen that match. I've seen all their matches because I know it's going to be a scrap and it's going to be fireworks every single time.
Yeah, that's fun. Hey, who else are you watching right now on the international scene?
I watch a lot of Sidikov.
Yeah.
I do watch a lot of Sidikov. I go back and watch Besik Kudakov a lot. That's who I get most of my misdirections from. It's just seeing him, and then just being able to be like, oh, that's nice. I'm gonna go try that. And then hitting that fake outside step to a single leg he does is so freaking nasty. But yeah, those two are I watch a lot. Then I also watch a lot of David Taylor because I love David. I've had a relationship with him for quite some time now. So, but yeah, those three guys are mainly some of the ones I watch. But that I just love watching wrestling too. I watch whoever. I love watching wrestling. I love learning wrestling. Just seeing different ways I can hand fight, get to my leg attacks, how to defend shots and just stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with Musakayev, who finally got a world title. We always knew he was talented enough. Like there was never a question.
Never had the gas tank.
Now he's got a tank on him.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool to see, who else? Like there are some 65K is always my favorite weight class, always.
Mhm.
And here's why. There is a perfect semblance of speed and strength at that weight class. And if we're going to be honest, like across the world, that's probably the most populated, like most humans that are high level athletes under the age of 27, are that size cut down. So who are you like kind of circling as like, okay, I got to watch Odagoro's this, or I've got to watch Musakayev's this. What types of things are you going over with KJ? Because by the way, I don't know if people realize how much of a mastermind Kevin Jackson really truly is. Like he's one of the best game planners and masterminds in the wrestling room that there exists in this sport. So who are you circling right now as like, oh shit, I got to get ready for the Olympic Games and I got to watch out for this?
I mean, Musakayev to begin with, him. I think also the Armenian is pretty
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
He's really good. Obviously you got to be aware of Sebastian. I mean, he's talented too,
Yeah.
but he wrestles that American style. That's easy to game plan for.
Yeah.
Odaguru didn't make the team.
Oh no.
He lost at the Japan Nationals.
Okay.
So I don't think he made the team. The Iranian, just because he's so dominant with that underhook.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like that is really hard to game plan for, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about, think about Musakayev and think about that underhook to that little, I call it Iranian lap drop, right? Like
Yep.
that's so different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how are you, like, are you splitting up the training cycle into weeks? Like, okay, I got to keep people off my low leg or this week. And then next week I'm working underhooks.
I honestly don't. We're aware of what these guys have, but we don't spend too much time worrying about what these guys have. Like KJ always tells me that we know you have the skills and wrestling IQ to go out and beat any of these dudes. So let's just spend some time, working these positions where these guys are good at and what we need to stop. But let's not take away from what I'm good at and what I need to do to go win these wrestling matches. So, like, for instance, when the Big Ten finals, Ridge Lovett slowed me down with an underhook, right? He slowed me down with that, his right-sided underhook. So we spent 10, 15 minutes just getting out of underhooks. Then he's like, all right, that's it. Now you start working your attacks. That's all we're going to spend on it. You got to be aware of it. And then just started focusing on what I'm good at. And, because I'm a guy who doesn't, like, KJ will tell me what to be aware of, but I won't spend too much time watching guys that, like, okay, like, because if I start worrying about them too much, it's going to take away from me. And I don't want to take away from myself and what I'm good at. So, just being aware of the positions, but not becoming obsessed with it. Be like, okay, Musakayev or the Iranian, this guy's good here. I can't be in that position. No, I can be in that position. I just need to clear it and then get back to my attacks.
Sure. Yeah, not obsessing over it. That's probably the most important thing. We were talking earlier about walking to places and what's your go-to like, because you were saying that you've gotten away from, after being overseas for a bit, you've gotten away from like big brand coffees like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts and stuff. What is your go-to coffee order at a coffee house in Ann Arbor right now?
I'm either doing a cortado,
All right.
just a vanilla cortado or a vanilla cappuccino.
I like it.
But also, me and my roommate, Ben Hannes, who represents Italy, we live together and we also have an espresso maker in our spot. So I don't really drink big coffees anymore. I'm just an espresso shot and I'm good to go for the rest of the day. Like that's all I need.
About. Get with the program, Joel Shaw. Get with the program. Like, Joel's not a coffee drinker.
I know a good coffee shop is good when they have like cortados. Yeah. I'm like, oh, these people know coffee.
Yeah.
Because they know that you don't need that much coffee.
No.
To get what you need. So I just need a little 8-ounce coffee and I'm good.
So I love espresso. And there is a place right next to the gym that I go to every Wednesday morning that has as good espresso as anywhere I had in Italy or anything in Europe. And like finding a place like that out, especially out here, it's money, dude. It's absolute money. I love it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can't get enough of it.
me and my roommate, there's a place called Canelli's, like 2 minutes walking distance from where we live. And for a while, like during the summer, we got in the kick of we would eat dinner, sit around for a bit, and then we go get a decaf espresso and like a little like pastry or something because they have like a thing full of like just desserts and stuff like that. So we get a little decaf espresso, the cannoli, whatever you want, or a cinnamon roll, whatever. And we just sit there, and that was like our little dessert. And we got in the kick of it for a while. We actually need to get back into it because we had some good times.
You're living life there, Austin Gomez. You are living life. Anything else before we get up to our quick questions there, Joel Shaw? All right, let's rock and roll with these. All right. Answer these off the top of the dome. Don't think too much about them. You ready?
All right.
Best wrestling shoe ever.
Rulon Gardeners.
Really?
Loved them. I had probably 5.
What was your favorite colorway?
Black and gold.
Oh, I like that.
My high school team was black and gold, and my dad's team was black and silver. So it's just like either those or black and reds I would rock.
Do you remember the gray and orange ones?
Yeah, I thought those were hideous.
I love those, dude. Those were my jam, dude. Maybe it was because those were like the only pair that I found. But go ahead.
I think one of the most comfy shoes I ever wore were the Kendall Crosses.
We talked about that yesterday, didn't we? Who did we have on yesterday? That
Mike Gray.
Oh, Mike Gray. That's right, Mike Gray. Yeah, he said Kendalls. I actually have a white pair right now. Do you have a pair?
No, I used to have a few when I was like in middle school, high school. I used to be a big wrestling shoe guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had like 2 pairs of Kendalls, a pair of Colot Speeds. I had like 3 or 4 pairs of Rulons. I mean, I had everything. I had Combat Speeds.
That's pretty dope.
I've got some black and gold Rulons in my closet right now.
Do you really?
What size?
10.5.
10.5. That's my size.
I'm gonna hit you up.
Yeah, I'll hit you up.
That's great. All right. All right. Here's the deal. Got to be American. Only get 4. Who is on your Mount Rushmore of wrestling?
Ooh. Jordan Burroughs.
JB.
John Smith.
Okay.
Hale Sanderson.
Okay.
And man. Let's go Baumgartner.
Oh, why now? So here's the thing to me. Like everyone answers the first 3 with absolute certainty, whomever they choose. What made you choose Baumgartner for the 4th?
Just because I mean he had so much success in Greco wrestling.
Yeah.
I just think, he was just very dominant, and you don't see that now for US Greco guys anymore. Yeah. So I think what he did was very impressive and was freaking awesome to see. And, he's a legend. He is a legend of USA wrestling. So
plus he stuck with that Mo from the Three Stooges haircut for a long time. Like he is rocking
that mustache was gnarly too.
That mustache is for real. That word curtain is something else, boy. All right. All right. Last one. If you had a magic wand and you could change one thing about the sport of wrestling, tell me, what would it be?
Let's add a push-out rule in folk style.
Right? Why not? Like, what are we?
If we want to promote wrestling and get rid of stalling as much as we can, the push-out rule is going to be great. It's going to create more action.
I'll take it a step further. By the way, I want to get away from grounding completely. Right? Like, if your foot goes out of bounds, that's one. Period. The end.
Yeah, and I think like if we do add the push-out rule in folk style and a guy does go grounding and gets pushed out, you hit him for stalling.
There you go. Okay, so that's a half a point. There you go. Now you're talking.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes all the sense in the world to me. It's like we can do it. Like that's not a hard one. Like, we have people come on this podcast and their magic wand is, I want folk style to change to freestyle like that. That is a really difficult ask over.
Yeah, they'll never get rid of folk style wrestling just because it's the American style. They'll never get rid of it, but I think there needs to be a push-out rule.
It would, first of all, it would take away from the subjectivity of the officials. Like there's no way that even official to official that they get it the same. Not even right. You can't even say the word right because it's a weird gray area. But it would also take less time for matches. Like, we did talk about the first, what was it? I think it was 3 matches actually, Joel, not 2. The first 3 matches. So that's 21 minutes of wrestling took an hour and 17 minutes. That's bananas to me. Well, if you take away all that time, they go out of bounds, they fix their sock, they fix their headgear, and then they go back. You're talking about 10 minutes out of that hour. Like, what are we even talking about? This is such an easy fix.
Yeah. And I understand some of the arguments that, these hard folk style guys are making. And I just don't get it. Like, it's just like, if you're going to enjoy good wrestling, you got to watch some freestyle wrestling and you'd understand why we need to have the push out rule. Like, I think
the number one argument that I get when I propose the step out rule is there's so much good wrestling that happens on the edge. Mm-hmm. And I go, why can't that happen in the center? Like, why I don't understand. Why does it have to be on the edge? It has to be on the edge because we allow it to be on the edge.
Yeah.
Like if we said you can't go out of bounds, then it would happen in the center. It's not like we would deprive ourselves of good wrestling. You're getting me on a soapbox here, Austin Gomez.
I also was not a fan of reaction time this year. It made things so confusing.
Yeah, that was a little confusing. I mean, what's a takedown? What's not a takedown?
I don't even know if it's confusing. I just think it's not. It doesn't.
It makes it hard to judge, right?
Yeah.
One ref might say, "Oh, that hand was down for long enough." The other ref says it doesn't,
and it almost never looks like a takedown in a replay. That, like, if you're
never.
If you're allowing for a second in a replay, and you can look at it, it almost never looks like it in a replay. Which
I think the rear standing, the hand touch, that was a good adjustment that they made. But now it's just, I think it's gone too far with reaction time.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense to me. All right. What else, Joel Shaw? Anything else before we get moving?
No. Austin, where can everyone find you?
Oh, yeah.
Find me on Instagram and Twitter. My Instagram's agomez_149. And then my Twitter is agomez65mx.
I like that. Good luck at the games, my friend. I'm so excited to watch you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, fellas. I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks, Austin.
Welcome to the Athletor Podcast. What do you want to know with the top guest? Right now with the project. What you want to know, man? What you want to know? Welcome to the Athletor Podcast. What do you want to know with the top guest? Right now with the project. What you want to know, man? Welcome to the show.